Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of 15 Good Minutes. Coach B here. Freddie, my man. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well with you.
I'm doing good. No complaints. How we doing, LB?
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
We will not have Mr. Wonderfully Excellent today. What I want to talk about today is the stretch run, what I call the stretch run. And for me, this is just a great time of the year. You know, this is when things really start to happen. We talked about this with NCAA basketball, LB, like, I want to say November when everything, all the early stuff, and we was like, too soon. So when I say the stretch run, what I mean is you got about 4, maybe 5 games left before your conference tournament. And now things will start to shape up. So we're not at a point yet where we're going to do the stuff we normally do when they get in. But I want to talk to these fine gentlemen about what they see in the stretch run and how, if at all, things may have pivoted. So I'm going to start with you, Freddie, but I'm going to say this as a lead in, and you may not be surprised. I really wasn't. But there are 5 preseason top 5 teams that aren't even in the top 25. Kansas, UConn, Gonzaga, Baylor, and our beloved Carolina Tar Heels.
I would have figured that out. Definitely Kansas and UConn, UNC. You know, the other two.
Gonzaga, listen, man, Gonzaga lost twice to their arch rival St. Mary's. And I mean, St. Mary's put it on them this year. So what I want to start off with for both of you, and I'm going to start with you first, Freddie. I don't personally put a lot of stock into the preseason rankings, but having said that, are you surprised that any one or some of these 5 aren't even in the top 25 right now going into the stretch run?
Yeah, I am surprised that they're not ranked. Kansas just got kicked out this week. UNC, you know, it's what it is. I think what's his name? Dan Hurley. He's probably thinking maybe I should have took that.
He took LA. That Lakers job is looking real good right now.
You know, Gonzaga. I think they were always fool's gold. To be honest with you, even when they played UNC, I mean, they're a good program, good team, but I always felt that they were fool's gold. You know, what do you say?
Baylor. Yeah,
Baylor. Baylor is one of those teams. To me, they remind me so much of Oregon. I love their uniforms and what have you, but you just can't take them serious. Kansas. I mean, you have Dickinson that's been in college basketball for 10 years now. You know, and then when you look at, I think they have a bunch of upperclassmen on that team. They're not a young team. You know, they got guys that have played a lot of basketball. So I'm definitely, you know, surprised that they're not in the top 25.
Fair enough. LB, when you take a look at the rankings that just came out this week, right? Is there anything that catches your eye in the way of a surprise, or are you more like Freddie, like really not surprised with where we are right now at this point in the season?
Well, excuse me, the teams that are ranked in the top 25, it's interesting to me how there's a bunch of teams that are right within 1 or 2 games of each other.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's around 20, 24 or 20, like
It's
21
tight.
and 6, you know, and 22 and 5. It's a rack of teams that are in that, you know, in that wheelhouse. And I don't know if you can discern, you know, who is better than who at this point. At least in my world, it's a big game coming up tomorrow. Michigan State is at Maryland tomorrow. Michigan is 8th and Maryland is currently 16th. Maryland winning that could go a big way for a big boost in their resume when the tournament comes, because they probably are at this point a 7 or 8 seed, something like that, maybe.
They're in, but to your point, LB, now I consider them. I wrote down, and I don't know if you guys did, but I wrote down my quote unquote hot teams right now: St. John's, Michigan State, Maryland, Clemson, Memphis, Louisville, and BYU. So that Maryland Michigan State game, to me, and I mean, I think it's the most relevant Maryland's been in quite some time.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I haven't, as an alum, I should have watched more of the games. I have not. I think I may have seen a quarter of one or half of one. So I need to pay more attention to them. But I'm happy to see that they're doing well. The team that I've always thought, at least this year, I think that might make some noise when the tournament starts, might be Memphis. And I think it's just I have seen. I think I saw them play earlier this season. Um, I like what Penny is doing. I think that they might surprise some people. And as far as St. John's, I was just shocked that they were that high because I hadn't paid any attention to them. They're like, where did they
Nobody
come
did
from?
though,
Right. So yeah, the other team I think is Houston, just based on what I remember from last season. Um, so I don't have any faith in the SEC teams, and there are racketos in the top
they got a lot of them
25.
though.
Yeah, almost half the conference seemed to be in the top 25. But I'm hoping that somebody else wins. I'm not a SEC fan per se.
I think Houston beat Texas Tech last night as we're taping. Mind you, they lost the first time they played, and it was one of those games there'll be where, and I like Houston, I like Calvin Sampson. I didn't want the game to end. That's how hard they would fight. I mean, back and forth. You know what I mean? And it was a really good college basketball game, and no one really deserved to lose. To your point, Freddie, last week Kansas went to BYU and just got smacked. I mean, and I'm thinking, okay, BYU caught fire that night, but then BYU keeps doing it. And to your point, LB, when I look at these rankings, and I don't, independent of the conference, I almost feel it's to your detriment to be playing extremely well right now today. And so I want to ask you both, do you think, I mean, I like Bruce, I like what's going on at Auburn. I think this is like their 7th week in a row, perhaps at number 1. Have either of you guys seen them? And if so, can they sustain this through the regular season and then come out on top in their conference tournament?
So I saw Auburn, just their inside presence, I think was going to carry them a long way. Most of these, I should say almost every team now in the NCAA and the NBA, 3 happy. So off night and you're done. I like teams that can go inside and can handle it, around the basket, get rebounds and get putbacks and that kind of stuff, because that kind of stuff doesn't go away. You know what I mean? A 2-footer, you're not going to miss those very often. And their game, their front line seems to be, to me, to be better than most. So I think that will carry them a long way once the tournament start.
Yeah, I mean, Houston does that too, LB. They have a good front presence. They look to score inside, and I like that. Freddie, I'm asking you a question, and it's not because I hate Duke, because I do hate Duke, but that has nothing to do with the question I'm about to ask you. You talk about fool's gold. Are they legit 2 right now to you, or is there something I'm missing? Because I just don't see it.
No, I don't think they're legit 2. I think they're legit 1, to be honest with you.
Wow. Okay.
I think they are legit, and I love. This is probably the biggest, most athletic Duke team I've ever seen, and it's not a lot of teams across the country that can have that type of size and athleticism. But I definitely think that they're legit number one seed. And I hate Duke, but I got to give them their credit.
Yeah, and they have been tested this season too. I mean, they play everybody everywhere. So you can't. Their record is indicative of how well they've been playing. I mean, because they just went to New York last week and beat the brakes off Illini.
So everybody does.
We'll have to see how it shapes up. I will say that if there's a team that I'm worried about, it's Kansas. I watched Kansas last night struggle against a Colorado team that conference record was something like 2-14.
Right.
And for most of that game, Colorado was kicking that ass. And Kansas finally pulled away, but they just don't. I don't know, man. It's like something's happening there. I mean, they're trending the wrong way. I think they said it's been, and Jay Williams gave the number, something like 1,477 days since since they have been non-ranked.
Wow.
Before we check out, let me see if the guys got something to say. I'm going to start with you today, LB. You got something to say, man?
Yes, I do.
Let's have it.
It's the question is chivalry dead? And I'm going to say no, but it's on life support. I was traveling this weekend, and so you're going down the aisle. There's a couple in front of me. The husband is in front of the wife. We get to that row. They pick the seats. He throws his bag up there and sits down. And this couple is every bit of 60-ish plus. Okay. He throws his bag up in the top. Say again?
We're on a plane, right?
On the plane, yeah.
Okay.
He throws his bag up onto the overhead, sits down. The wife grabs something out of her bag and zips it up and tries to get it up into the overhead. And she's struggling with it. I'm behind this lady, and the flight attendant is in front of the lady. And the flight attendant asks her, do you need any help? She said, no, I think I can get it. I think I can get it. And she's still struggling, trying to get it up there in overhead. The flight attendant looked at me like, are you going to help her? And I looked at her like, hell no, her husband's sitting right there. He never got up. He never moved. He never acknowledged her struggle. She finally got it up there and, everything's fine. We get off the plane. Same thing. He grabs his bag and walks off. Doesn't even think about getting her bag down. So we get out of there. I get to the baggage claim. Now there's a totally different couple now. I see a couple walk up to the thing. The guy has a pizza box in one hand, and he's got the wheelie suitcase in another hand, and the woman is pushing another little suitcase. She goes. They have another bag that's a big bag that's bigger than either of the two bags that they're carrying on the carousel.
Mm-hmm.
She goes to get it. He just stands there with the pizza in his hand while she struggles to get this big ass suitcase off of the foot. Two different races, two different age groups.
What was the age group of the second one? The
second ones, they were every bit in their 30s. So who do I blame? I blame all of them. I blame the women for allowing those men to not treat them with some respect, or come on, man. You can watch your ladies just struggle and have a hard time with something heavy. That's what we supposed to do. We supposed to take care of our women. The heavy things, that's why we're built the way we built. To lifting heavy stuff for the ladies who were supposed to, frail and yada, yada, yada.
I told you not to pack all that shit in the first thing before we left the crib.
You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming.
But it really bothered me. I mean, especially the first couple, because they were older. The younger one, I kind of, in some way, give them a pass because the young people, they screwed up anyway. But this older guy, you can't tell me that you weren't raised better than that. And that she allowed him to be that trifling. Okay, I'm done. That's my time.
I like it. I'm going with that. I hope it's not dead. I'll say that. Freddie, how about you, buddy? You got something to say today?
Oh, I had something to say, but I'm just gonna, respond to a little bit of what LB just said, because I don't think I can say much more. I could say much more that could, top that, but I might lose my job. So I'm not. LB, you live a very interesting life to see all these occurrences that occur. Now, regarding the individuals, let's just be honest. I know when me and my wife, we go places, I'm constantly, my wife, she'll know we going somewhere, and she won't pack until the night before. We know we going 2 weeks before, or she'll wait until 2:00. And mind you, I'm the one that's driving to the airport. So I always mess with her. And, I normally pack all my stuff the night before. So the next morning I wake up, like in boot camp, 2 minutes, then I'm, hey, get your stuff out, let's go. Because you should have did all this before. So my man that's 60 years old or whatever, he probably tired, his back probably hurt, his shoulder is probably out of whack and everything. And he don't have time for it, because I told you ain't nobody looking for you anyways. Ain't nobody looking for ain't nobody looking for you. So then the younger couple, my man, he probably hungry because he didn't have nothing to eat. So when we stopped to Sombreros or whatever in the airport, and I'm hungry, and I got my bag, you know, and then you the one that's packing all this stuff. When I told you you don't need all of that, you can do like how some people when they go on vacation, they'll wear one pair of pants. A certain group of people, they will wear one set of pants 3-4 days and just switch up the tops. Right? You don't see. Some of us need to start hacking like other people, other groups. Right? So, you know, they'll wear the bottoms. You know.
Spraying with some Lysol and call it good.
LB, let me LB, I'm seeing like a deeper dive into a show topic with this young fella somewhere. Are you picking up? Yeah. There's something there with him being the patron saint of lost causes. He just defended both of them cats.
Yes. I'm not defending anything, but if you know you're not that physically strong, and I'm 60 and you 60. Ain't no need of both.
You got the man on the injury reserve already. Where you?
That dude was fine. He threw his bag up there like it wasn't nothing. Wasn't nothing wrong with him.
Didn't weigh as much as her bag.
So all this leads back to her not packing as early as he did, is what I'm gathering. But I'm going to listen. I am going to peel that onion in a future show. It's coming. It's coming. We're gonna find out what's going on with young Freddie. For now, we're going to say thanks for rocking with us. Check out some college basketball this weekend, and we'll be right back at it next week. We're out.